Hello, I'm the Reverend Patricia Hart, Developmental Minister of this First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington, Vermont. Welcome to all the members and the friends of this congregation, and on behalf of those members and friends, to all of you who might be visiting this congregation from somewhere else. We're glad you're here. Wherever you've been, wherever you are now, you are welcome. This is a special service today because of our youth group. This Sunday was to have been the youth service, which happens every spring. But given these unusual times, we decided that the youth group would offer a play rather than a sermon. The youth chose to explore the theme of respect, and especially self-respect. They read about it and discussed it, and then collaboratively wrote a puppet show to share with you a little bit of what they learned. You'll see in just a few minutes. I'm also glad and grateful for James Stewart and for Sam Whitesell for their music and video production, and to Peggy Derby and David McFeeters and others who right now are making a flower communion for the community happen outside the meeting house for people who are walking by. And perhaps in a little bit to some of you who might want to bring a flower by later. I hope you have your chalice nearby you, and perhaps a flower too, a cup of tea or coffee. I want to remind you that you can always turn on the closed captioning, the CC at the bottom of the YouTube video, if you'd like to catch every word. And if you'd like to learn more about Unitarian Universalism and this congregation, look for the link underneath this video on YouTube and let us know who you are so we can be in touch with you. We are apart today in body. We are united in our hearts, in our care for one another and the world. Let us settle in at a distance together to worship. The words of Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
As we light our chalice to begin worship together, please say with me our chalice lighting words. We kindle this chalice flame to remind ourselves of the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment.
Oh my gosh, that example video Mr. Owl sent out was so bad, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, why would he make that the example? It just kind of stinks.
I mean, did you see that editing skill? That was just not good at all.
It looks like they spent like 2 minutes on it. It's not good, man. Do better. Step up, man.
They cut like so sharply to another scenes, like there's no transition at all.
Not even that. It looks like it was filmed on his grandpa's phone. You know, like get some equipment.
Yeah, man.
I made that video.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Yep, that was me.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Oh, my gosh. Why would I even say something like that? I'm such a horrible person. I should never have said anything so terrible. No, I was bluffing. I could never make a video that good. You're so much better at it than I am. You're way better at this class than I am. I don't know what to say. I can't believe I would ever do anything like that. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm sorry too, Giraffe, but at least you got featured by the teacher, which is kind of cool. So good for you on that. Even though the editing wasn't great, the story you told was actually really creative.
I forgive you guys.
Oh, thanks.
I feel like I don't deserve it.
I'm gonna go.
Bye.
Bye. I can't believe we did that. That was such a mistake. It's not what good friends should do. It was horrible. I feel like I can never repay it to him.
Well, I mean, you kind of did. You apologized and he accepted it. You don't have to put yourself down for him. Because, you made a mistake and you said sorry for it. It still means you're a fine person. It just means you shouldn't do that again.
But what if apologizing wasn't enough?
Well, I mean, maybe it wasn't enough, but you don't have to put yourself down about it. Just continue to be his friend. Don't do it again and it'll be fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. I guess I'll have to think about that next time. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
How's school going?
It's been alright, you know.
Alright. I miss seeing my friends.
It's kind of fun. Mine's been good, except this one person is really annoying me.
How is this person annoying you?
I don't know, she's just been so, she just keeps being so disruptive, and I feel like she's not even trying. I mean, if you're going to come to the online class, you gotta at least mute your mic.
Yeah. Who is it?
Hippo.
I know Hippo. I totally know what you're talking about.
Totally. In my history class, we could hear her and her mom yelling for what to eat for dinner for like 10 minutes before the teacher got her to mute their mic. She didn't even care.
Fox, you know Hippo, right? I think she's in your math class, isn't she?
Oh, hey guys.
Hi!
Sorry I'm a bit late.
Hi, Dragon!
Yeah.
Hey!
Hi.
So we're doing our group project, right?
Yeah, right.
We were just talking about Hippo, actually.
What were you guys talking about Hippo?
You know Hippo, right? She's so annoying.
I don't know. I mean, that's not very nice to talk about Hippo like that. You can like talk about it some other time when I'm not around, but it's just not very nice. Just saying.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I might agree with that. We should probably start on the project. Yeah, do you have your part done? Yeah, I do. I worked really hard on it. Hey,
Hey, Fox.
it's good to see you again.
Yeah. Oh, so what have you been up to? Did you finish that essay that was due last week?
As a matter of fact, I did.
Nice. What was it about?
I wrote an essay all about self-respect. I was really inspired by what you told me, Dragon.
Oh, thanks.
About how I shouldn't put myself down like that, even if I make a mistake. I mean, it's like, even when you make a mistake, it's like really important to be nice to yourself, because it's important to be kind to other people and brave, and it really takes self-respect to do that, because, I mean, it's hard to be brave if you don't really believe that you can do it, and being kind to other people isn't always easy either. You can't be kind to yourself, because, after all, if you don't think that you can make a difference, then how are you going to believe that you can make a difference to that person? Well, anyway, you know what happened with us and Giraffe, and the other thing that happened when we were working with Lion and Stingray and they were putting Hippo down like that?
Yeah, I remember that. Poor Hippo and Giraffe.
Yeah, I felt really bad about that, especially because I didn't stand up for Hippo. But as bad as I feel about it, I shouldn't be yelling at myself so harshly. I mean, if I do, maybe it won't be so easy to make Giraffe feel better, or to be brave when people are being mean and saying something that is super awkward. So anyway, our teacher asked me to collaborate with you on a graduation speech this year. I mentioned that you were really good at self-respect, and I kind of felt like you kind of helped me get better at it myself, and, well, frankly, I'm a little bit nervous about giving a speech in front of anyone like that.
Oh, me too a little bit. Man, in front of the whole school for graduation. Well, I mean, your essay must have been pretty good then, but I'm still nervous about it. But, you know, I saw a TED Talk somewhere, and it says that if you believe stress is bad for you, you're gonna die. No, you'll die sooner. You're not gonna outright drop dead. It also said that if you get sweaty and nervous stomach from stress, it's because your body is trying to get you ready to survive something hard. So, I mean, maybe it's just adrenaline, and we shouldn't be too stressed about it. Because it's a good idea. Felt like a speech. Maybe we're just pumped up.
Wow, that's fascinating. Maybe I should see that TED Talk.
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
I'll keep that in mind when we're giving that speech. I gotta believe in myself to do this. I mean, I think we can do it, Dragon.
Yeah, me too.
As we begin our meditation this morning, I want to let you know about three things. Three things that I've been thinking about and that you should know. I want to thank Marilyn Brill and Susan Warner Mills, who have collaborated with Lynn Douglas and me to make Joys and Sorrows be possible via the website. So today, for the first time, I'll be sharing some of those joys and sorrows that you have shared, some of you, and you can do that any day, and we will add them to the service as we can. The second thing I want you to know is that tomorrow, Monday, June 1st, has been called as a day of mourning and lament. This is an interfaith call that came, I think, first from the Episcopal Church, but many religious bodies have signed onto it, and cities as well. And to mark a day of mourning and lament for all of the death and the sadness and the confusion and grief of this time of COVID-19. We will ring the bells of the meeting house at noon, and several other congregations in the downtown Burlington area will ring their bells at the same time in a sound of mourning and lament and solidarity. The third thing for us to hold in this time of meditation is George Floyd, the murder of yet one more black person in this country, murdered wrongly by police. I've been thinking about that man and his life and the city of Minneapolis, and I've been thinking how it is all happening again. I know that many of you have been thinking about it too. Many of you have been following the news and expressing on social media and perhaps in emails and letters, expressing your opinions and your hopes and your calls for justice. Some of you have actually been to protests, and I know that you were as careful and as safe as you could be. A man named Kenny Wiley, who is a Unitarian Universalist, an African American, and one of our wise commentators these days in our tradition on issues of racial justice and social justice, posted something on his Facebook page. I just want to share a little bit of what Kenny said. So often we badly want a world of saints and sinners, angels and no angels. But nearly all the time, it's not that simple. We, all of us, we make people smile and we hurt people deeply. We show up for our friends and we steal things. We save lives and we break hearts and laws. We sin and we save. We do unforgivable things. We commit unbelievable good. We are more than any one thing, any one moment, any one triumph, any one mistake. And we all deserve to live. Would you take a breath and hear some of the joys and the sorrows of the people of this congregation? I'm relieved as my mother-in-law in a nursing home in New York has gone 2 weeks without symptoms after testing positive for coronavirus. Joy for a month of wonderful celebrations, including my sister's birthday, Mother's Day, my daughter's birthday and her scheduled wedding day in a year, my wife's birthday and my retirement day, all this, plus the beauty of spring and many other blessings. My close friend's grandpa has COVID and is currently in the hospital fighting for his life. Please keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers during this challenging time. Joy that we can open the spigot a quarter of a turn and see our granddaughter for a sleepover. Sorrow for dear friends from Star Island who recently lost a loved one to COVID. Joy that my aunt is home after a month and a half in hospital and rehab, and that her kitty is home with her. Great sorrow for those of us in our country who are suffering as a result of inept leadership. Let us hold the silence for a moment, holding these joys and sorrows in our heart and all of the others that we hold silently in heart and mind. Take a breath and let us sing Spirit of Life. Every week during our worship together, we take up an offering. We invite all of you, all of us, to give something to make the work of this congregation possible and flourishing in the world. And every week we share that offering with an organization in the community that is doing the work that we and our values and our principles call to be done. This week's offering will be shared with KidSafe Collaborative, whose mission is to engage community groups and individuals and agencies to work together to help prevent and respond to child abuse and neglect. This morning's offering will now be most gratefully received.
say with me the words of dedication for our offering. With gratitude, we dedicate these gifts in the service of our mission to inspire spiritual growth, care for each other and our community, seek truth, and act for justice.
I'm grateful to the youth group for their story. They told me that they wanted to talk about respect and self-respect, and I imagined a story where somebody learns to pay attention to who they really are, what they really believe as truth, and they speak up, and all the friends applaud and everything's great. But, of course, the story, the play they wrote, is much more complicated than that, and much more real. Hippo and dragon and fox and lion and stingray and panda and giraffe, they're just living their lives. They're just being friends and nice to each other and not nice to each other, fair and unfair, and feeling bad and laughing and apologizing and being forgiven. Being forgiven, but still not feeling very good about themselves. It's a vicious cycle that I recognized, because it's one in which we can all get caught. Everyone is trying their best and not quite finding a clear way. Their story reminded me of a favorite story of mine, perhaps my very favorite story of all stories. I've read it in different versions, but I heard it first as the rabbi's gift. A monastery had fallen on hard times. In the past, the buildings had been filled with young monks and people and activity, but now it was all deserted. People no longer came there to feel nourished by a sense of holiness. It was only a handful of old monks who were shuffling through the cloisters, serving God with very heavy hearts. The monks, I think there were 6 of them left, including the abbot, they had no idea how it had gotten that bad and no idea how to make things better. Now, on the edge of the monastery woods, there was a little hut. It had been built by the rabbi in town. And the rabbi would sometimes come there to the hut to fast and to pray. No one ever spoke with him, but whenever the rabbi appeared in the woods, the word would be passed from monk to monk. The rabbi's in the woods. The rabbi is in the woods. And while he was there, the monks would feel sustained by his prayerful presence. One day, during these hard times, when the rabbi was in his hut, the abbot decided to visit him, to share the heaviness of his heart. He went into the woods, and as he approached the hut, he saw the rabbi standing in the doorway, as if he was waiting and expecting for him. They embraced, the 2 men, the abbot and the rabbi. They embraced like long-lost brothers, and then they sat in silence and in prayer. They talked about their griefs and the world. And then the rabbi began to weep, and the abbot did too. The 2 men sat there like lost children, filling the hut with their shared pain and their tears. And when finally all was quiet, the rabbi said, "You have come to ask me for wisdom. I have no answers, but I will tell you one thing that I know." The rabbi looked straight at the abbot and he said, "The Messiah is among you." For a minute all was silent, and then the rabbi said, "Now you must go." The abbot left without a word. The next morning he drew all of the monks together and he told them that the rabbi had said this amazing thing. He said, "The rabbi told me the Messiah is one of us." The monks were startled, to say the least. What could it mean? They asked themselves. Is it Brother John? He's really wise, but he's kind of grumpy. Or is it Brother Matthew, who spends all of his time in the gardens? Or maybe Brother Thomas. He doesn't speak up very often, but it is true he seems to know what he's talking about. It couldn't be me. I know it couldn't be me. What could this all mean? They were all very puzzled. No one talked about it, though they thought of little else. But as time went by, the monks began to treat one another differently, to interact with one another with a new kind of reverence, respect, gentleness, concern, admiration. It was hard to describe this change, but it was actually pretty easy to notice. They began to live with each other as people who had finally found the meaning that they had been looking for. Visitors to the monastery found themselves strangely moved by the sense of life that they encountered there. And the word spread. Before long, people were coming from far and wide just to experience it. And soon other young people asked to stay, and the community grew and prospered once again. Maybe this is a miracle story. I think it's a story all about respect and self-respect and how they are so tangled up together we couldn't separate them if we wanted to. That, and that miracles can happen. There is a happy ending to this very sad story, but it doesn't come until the people, they're monks, I know, but they're just like the rest of us, until the people are moved to respect one another and to be curious about one another, and even then to love one another, though I think the respect and the curiosity comes first. And after all of that, then joy. In a couple of minutes, as this service ends, you will see a collage of pictures. Pictures of flowers and pictures of people, the people of this community, some of whom you know, some you don't, all of whom have stories, all of whom are worthy of our respect. Every spring here and in most Unitarian Universalist congregations in this country anyway, there is a Sunday that we call the Flower Communion Sunday. This tradition was started in Prague, Czechoslovakia in 1923 by the Reverend Norbert Čapek and his wife Maya. They created it as an untraditional ritual for their untraditional congregation, whom they wanted to honor and celebrate. It was pretty new at the time. That congregation, which was a church that didn't want to be like any church that any of them had known in the past. They had no religious symbols or language. I get the feeling from reading about them that they were a bit prickly, maybe a bit ready to argue with one another. The Čapeks wanted a way to celebrate the beauty of those people and the community that they had created. So, the ritual is very simple. They invited everyone to bring a flower. All together, those flowers made an extraordinary, disorganized bouquet, and at the end of the service, everyone takes a different flower home. You've done that. You've brought your flowers by sharing your pictures, and you can take them all home with this video, if not to touch or smell, at least to see. We wanted to share this tradition with the community Some who walk by the meeting house today will have a chance to participate, to help make a flower communion themselves. It makes me really glad to think that a few more people in Burlington will learn some important things about this congregation, some important things about beauty and generosity and hope and respect. In the youth group story, Fox says this: "It's hard to be brave if you don't really believe you can do it. And being kind to other people isn't really easy either if you can't be kind to yourself. Because after all, if you don't think that you can make a difference, then how can you believe you can make a difference to that person?" You can be brave. You can be kind, even to yourself, and you can make a difference. The world desperately needs you to do that, to believe in yourself and other people, to be brave and kind, to make a difference. So may it be.
More love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. Just our voices, there's more love. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
extinguish our chalice flame, please join me in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with the world until we are together again.
The words of Rebecca Parker. More is asked of us than we could have imagined. The beauty of life is such that it will not let us go until we have offered the blessing we have to give. So, let the beauty we have seen become the good that we do. And let us not rest ourselves free from the claim that life places upon us until we, in faith with all those who have gone before us, place ourselves among those who bless the world. Amen. Go in peace.